what plugins should I buy to make great music? So this is a really cool question because it's like sometimes you might find that FL Studio has all the tools that you need to make music, make great music. And it depends a little bit on the genre. For instance, to make hip hop, sometimes it's hard to just use the plugins from FL Studio to make great hip hop tracks. And I say this because for a long time, I just used FL Studio plugins and all these free plugins that were available in the market. I didn't have money to buy third-party plugins. So for a long time, I just used the native plugins from FL Studio. And I mean, nowadays with Flex, it's way, way better. But at the time when, I don't know, maybe five years ago, it was hard to make really cool hip-hop tracks with just FL Studio plugins. So it took me a while to be able to get some money and buy some plugins. Nowadays, I have a bunch of them. And I like those, and I'm not looking to buy too much more plugins because the tools that I have are enough to make the music that I like and the music that I want. Of course, I always want to go and get better stuff, but I think there's a threshold that you reach that you don't necessarily have to always keep buying plugins. But one of the plugins that I would say it's my favorite for making especially hip-hop or more, what's the word that I'm looking for? Beats or productions that use natural sounds like pianos, brasses, strings, stuff like that. Not these electronic type of music like techno or EDM or house that use, maybe house still use some pianos and stuff and strings, but EDM and techno uses a lot of synths, a lot of effects and stuff like that. So I'm talking more about those other type of music that uses more samples, pianos, strings, and stuff like that. I don't want to say that synths are not natural, which they are, but I think you get the point what I'm saying, hopefully. But going back to the question, one of the plugins that I would, is like my first choice to recommend is actually from Air and is called Expand 2. I can tell you that when I got this plugin, I actually got a bunch of them. I bought the entire section or the entire preset for them. So there's DB3, Hybrid, Loom, Mini Grand, Strike, Structure, which I really like, also Structure and Strike. Transfuser, the Riser, Vacuum Pro, Velvet, and Expand 2. But I can tell you that from all these plugins, the one that I go the most is Expand 2, and it's not very expensive. I think this plugin, all of the plugins that I bought from Air, I think it cost me like 80 euros. So it was, at the time, for me, was a lot of money, and still is, but it was something that I couldn't afford at the time, and or that I had to wait to get. And the first time that I had some money to buy these plugins, I think I was happy for, I don't know, maybe 5 months, just bringing this plugin all the time. And the good thing about Expand 2 is that, as you can see, there are a bunch of presets. So we have soft pads, bright pads, huge pads, action pads. We have synth brass. We have percussive elements. We have leads. We have acoustic pianos. These acoustic pianos sound really cool. We have electric pianos, organs, strings, vocals. The vocals here also sound really, really nice. Let me give you an example. As you can see, it sounds really, really cool. They have a bunch of stuff. The strings, there's a preset here that I really love about strings. Let me see, I think let me see if I can find it. Drama strings. Now this works more like this. Sometimes my keyboard just crashes, but yeah, as you can see, we have a lot of stuff. We have what else? Mallets, bells, guitars, hits, basses, loops. I mean, I think if you were to buy just a single plugin, or if I were to say just give me a single plugin, this will be the one. Expand to, because with this we can do a lot of music, and you have pretty much all the sounds that you need. And this is now, it's very expensive. I think it costs like 14 euros or something like that, and I think it's a really cool thing to buy. And I would say this is my favorite plugin of all time so far, because it's very complete, it's easy to work with, and it's very cheap.